Is Xerneas going to be worth your time in Pokemon Go to power up, to take it to the next level, to raid for it, to get more than enough XL candy, to be able to do multiple things with it because it is a fairy type attacker? We're going to check all that out into Xerneas' best of the best today. Without further ado, I don't want you guys wasting any time and resources. Drop in the comments and let me know before we get into this video, do you think it's going to be worth your time and energy? So, Xerneas, breaking it down, is a all fairy type Pokemon. It is going to max out at 4,275. It has an attack of 250 that's ranked 103 in Pokemon Go, a defense of 185 that's going to be ranked 216, and a stamina of 246. So, you know, it's honestly a relatively even-keeled Pokemon, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be effective. But let's keep investigating further because this fairy type means it's only going to be weak to two things, which is going to be steel as well as poison. And since it's steel and poison, that makes this Pokemon, you know, kind of attractive for GBL right now. And on top of that, since it's a fairy type, it's going to be double resistant to dragon, which is a very attractive quality there because especially in PvP, there's a decent amount of dragons in there for the Master League. And also, it's going to have single resistant to bug, dark, as well as fighting, which are two other scenarios that are relatively good. So that's pretty cool to start off with. But let's check out its moveset and see where this Pokemon does sit with the moves that it does get. The fast moves are going to be Tackle as well as Zen Headbutt. So unfortunately, it is not getting a fairy fast move, which does slightly hinder it as a meta fairy attacker, which is kind of unfortunate. But as far as its charge moves, it does get a decent amount. It does get Mega Horn, it does get Close Combat, it does get Giga Impact, it does get Thunder, and it does get Moon Blast, which is pretty impressive, right? It does get some pretty good ones. However, Moon Blast as a meta fairy attacker moveset, when I say meta attacker, I mean like going after raid bosses, not really the best move there because it's a single bar charge and it's not really strong. But there are some other cool Pokemon's moves in here. However, it doesn't get the stab bonus to use as a meta attacker standpoint, but that does not mean that it cannot be effective in other places such as GBL. So looking at this Pokemon, we're now going to break this down and see against itself using DPS times TDO. DPS is damage per second, meaning one really hard hit, how much damage is it going to do? And then TDO is over the lifespan of Xerneas. How well will this Pokemon do? Let's check out the top movesets for this Pokemon before we start comparing it to the fairy category. Okay, the top Xerneas moveset is actually going to be double normal moves at Tackle and Giga Impact at 1701, Zen Headbutt, Giga Impact at 1747, Tackle and Moonblast at 1096, then we have Tackle Mega Horn at 876, Close Combat 716, Thunder 688, and downwards. Okay, so when looking at this Pokemon immediately from the DPS times TDO, we know that it is not a meta attacker. Why do we know that? If you guys have followed my videos, you guys do know why. I will tell you. If you don't, I'm going to tell you right now. This Pokemon makes it challenging because it is not going to hit in the best standpoint. It is not over 2,500 for this standpoint, but the fairy category is relatively weak as far as its attacker standpoint, so it could make it into the top at around 2,000 to 22 to 2,300, but unfortunately this Pokemon is way down there. And even its best moveset, which is going to be normal against Giga Impact, remember Regigigas also gets Giga Impact, so let's check out, starting off with the normal category before we go into fairy, what's going to be the best here. In the normal category, we are going against things like Mega Mewtwo with Hyper Beam at 8,068, Mega Salamence with Return at 5,327, Mega Alakazam with Return, Shadow Mewtwo with Hyper Beam, and then if we want to see the Xerneas, that is going to be all the way on the 5th page at 1701. So obviously looking here, it is not effective as a normal type attacker, but what about a fairy type? Okay, for a fairy typing, we do have Mega Gardevoir on top, not out yet. Mega Alakazam is on top right now at 4189. Mega Diancie, not out yet. Shadow Gardevoir is out 2471. Like I talked about, the fairy category is a little bit weaker of a category for its strengths. However, we have Xurkitree even in here with Dazzling Gleam. That's quite a cool combination right there. Mega Bayonet, not out yet. Zacian, Hero of Many Battles, 2249. And then if we want to see where this Pokemon sits, Xerneas, 1096, behind a regular Alakazam, which is mind-blowing. So guys, when we are looking at as a meta attacker, it is not recommended to power this Pokemon up at all for any meta attacker standpoints. This Pokemon does not do anything. Maybe at some point it could get a better moveset, but as of right now, it is a hardcore no coming from the Trainer Club's recommendation. However, let's check it out in GBL because it does have a decent amount of moves here and see where it could sit. In the Ultra League, it's going to be ranked 347. So already we're like, oh my gosh, does this Pokemon have any hope at all? Well, yes, it does. For the saving grace, it's going to be ranked 13 in the Master League with Tackle, Moonblast, as well as Close Combat. And that Close Combat move is actually pretty effective, and Tackle did get a boost. So man, this Pokemon is actually looking pretty good for the Master League. Not only is it looking pretty good, it's ranked 13. And since, you know, it is a legendary Pokemon, and I did say that I wouldn't power it up at all for a meta attacker to go after raid bosses, if you do have one that you so choose to get 296 Exo Candy because it is going to make your team better, guys, you can definitely use it as a meta attacker. Even though it is not the strongest, it will still work, right? It will still work. So with that said, guys, looking at the Master League, I would suggest you guys test this Pokemon out before you max it out and before you go after it. What do I mean by that? Have somebody that you play against frequently and go in with 3 legendary Pokemon at around rank 20. At level 20 means caught level, and then you go in with a level 20 Xerneas and use tackle and close combat, and then go after their team and see what does happen with that Pokemon. Do you like how fast it charges? Do you like how fast the moves gain energy and stuff like that? Because that is all impactful in thinking, am I going to invest in this Pokemon with my resources? Because just remember, maxing one of these Pokemon is approximately $50. Yes, you heard it here, $50 to max out a legendary Pokemon in Pokemon Go. So you have to be careful, you want to be smart, you want to make the right choices in Pokemon Go, and that is going to be what helps you succeed. So thank you guys for tuning in as always. To all of my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody who takes their support, subscription, and participation to excellence. See you guys out in the next video. Peace. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.